Hello, this is TTT speaking. We are looking at the Nimitz again, and I'm here on a dedicated server running on my desktop, so it's not so fast or anything. It's just for testing. In the last couple of days we did some improvements to the carrier again. First, we are testing right now, today starting, a new script for towing from arma3. I hope I pronounced this one correctly. And it works with parallel structures and with the released airplanes and the carrier planes, the F-14 and the F-18. Instead of an add action, you use Shift B. You see now that we are on a dedicated server, and so it tells us that the target vehicle is not local, so we need to make it local. The easiest way to do that right now is to just go into the plane. Now we have basically transferred the object to our local client. Then we get out, enter the tractor again, use Shift B, and it is attached. You see it with the typical arma way of the juggling planes. I do not know if this is for auto brakes or for other implementation problems, but it basically works. Driving backwards seems to work too. I haven't seen any explosions yet, but I guess this comes with the territory. If arma3 will probably have a different story to tell, and will have seen a fair amount of explosions during development of this script as well. Another Shift B and it's detached, so we can drive away. We have now put it nicely on the elevator. I hope nicely, not so nicely. The nose is still peeking out a little bit. Anyway, I did some work on the elevator scripts for dedicated server use, but also for regular server use or for regular single player use. It is not totally nice, as you see, because the airplane will first float a little bit and then it gets the first impulse to go down a little bit. And this in general seems to work now more reliably, especially on a dedicated server, than it was before. I even had some good experience with using the standard arma3 planes for this experiment with the elevators. You see to the left lower side the scripting commands that I bump the plane all the time, which means I set a set velocity or use set velocity to set an up vector or a down vector depending if the elevator is going up or down, and I increased that from 0.3 to 0.5, and now it seems to work much nicer on the carrier. Let's quickly run to the hangar to show you the other improvements. The boat room in 094 Alpha was not really working. Oops, now we jumped. Was not really working so nicely because you had to know where the new boat button was placed, and then the boat would spawn half in the wall. We fixed this a little bit right now, but it probably needs some more space. This must be from a previous experiment I did. Sorry for that. Here, when you walk up front, you can request a boat. You see it's still under development. This must be an issue with the dedicated server. I'm not so sure how this comes, where this comes from. You can launch the boat and it will go down, as you know, from the arma2 carrier and from the 093 version 10. So that works nicely. But for these problems here, where we have a few boats too many. Now we're entering another area where we did some work. Here below is now the water access platform. In 904 alpha it is still blocked, but now you can walk on it. I didn't implement the fence, and I think I will remove the fence from the model. And here's a ladder where you can access the sea level if you want, instead of jumping down. It's a little bit glitchy right now still, and it doesn't look too brilliant when the guy goes down the ladder, but for time being it might work for most of you. So you can also try to climb up the ladder. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if anyone is very familiar with configuring ladders in arma3, get in touch and help me to fix this thing, because I'm not quite sure why and how. Sometimes I get the menu, sometimes I don't get. I have placed a box in the view geometry lot, but it's, even if I made it quite big, but it seems to be a little bit glitchy. And when you end up the ladder, you often fall down into the water again. So I do not know if we try to reverse the ladder or how we deal with this problem yet. We need to discuss this with Odysseus, who is doing the modeling stuff, because this is currently not really working, but that's work in progress pretty much. We also got a request from the forums to fix something for Alive, which is quite popular, and so I added the Alive profile ignore to each of the objects that spawned in the Nimitz init. There was another request to get the Nimitz working with the Zeus or Zeus or however it's pronounced, mode of arma3. I did do that as well and added the JDG carrier spawner to units, but don't expect too much, please, because the way the carrier is assembled, you will always get a carrier that faces north, and you cannot manipulate it via Zeus, as you probably are used to manipulating the objects from what I know. Yeah, that's it for now. Over and out. Bye bye.